How about, let's say, equity offerings, kind of that communication around these other pieces of being a startup employee? Is that different across cultural lines as well?
It is, yes. So in the US, we're very familiar with how equity works. We understand the early investment, the earlier you get in at a company that goes big, the better off you're going to be when they eventually, fingers crossed, have a liquidity event or go public. But there are fewer companies in Poland that have actually gone that entire route to have this liquidity event or go public. And so, there are a lot of people all over the world. This is not just Poland, but in countries where this is less common, where it's like monopoly money. Like you're technically saying this is what you're giving me, but I'm just going to like write it on a piece of paper and hope that it's worth something at some point. Which I mean, let's be honest, that is how equity works. But it takes a lot deeper explanation of this is why this is part of our compensation package and this is what we consider this to be worth. Like this is what the value is. This is what our strike price is. This is what, if we go public, this is what we're kind of expecting this value to be. But again, it can go that way. It might not go that way. Fingers crossed we get a lot of money and everyone's happy. You never really know. And so for some employees, they're not interested in equity because they just like, I want cold hard cash. Like I want it in my bank account so I can spend it now or I can invest it now or do whatever I need to do it with now. And they're less interested in those equity options you might get.
Interesting. So I'm sure that has kind of adjusted the mix of how you're making offers and probably had you have to have these deeper conversations with people you're potentially recruiting to say, okay, what is it you want
Exactly.
versus, yeah, the
Yeah,
more
yeah.
standard.
And a lot of companies, especially a lot of startups, use equity to help reduce the cost of your base compensation.
Improve retention and all, yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
And so you have to take a different approach for some of them who just aren't
Mm.
interested in equity.